What's up, Brandon? Welcome back to another episode of Balls to the Wall Polymarket Edition. This is some of my favorite videos to do. You know, I'm all in on Polymarket. I love it. It's like a stock market version of betting and investing in our favorite sport, football. And football is back soon. So we've done breakdowns on the quarterback market, we've done the tight end market, and today, my friend, we are jumping in to the running back market. So let's pop in right now and look at some of these guys that we see. What stands out to you, my friend? Who are your blue chips in this Poly Market Fantasy Football top running back of 2024?
Yes. So, the blue chips got to be CMC, Brees Hall, and Bijan. They are the consensus three going off the board first. If you've watched any of our best ball drafts, they have the greatest chance, as shown on the screen, to be the RB1 of the 2024 season.
Okay, who do you rank 1, 2, and 3 out of those three guys? If you were investing your money, where are you going? One, where are you going? Two, where are you going? Three?
With regards to how much money I'm putting down before the season, like in each running back, like
Yeah, let's say you had $100 and you wanted to kind of divvy it up between the three. Who's getting the biggest chunk? Who's getting the mid tier? And who's getting, whatever you got, the dust that you got left over?
it's got to be Brees Hall. I gotta give the most to Brees Hall. So 50 plus on Brees Hall, and then I'd probably go just to make it short and sweet. 60 on Brees Hall, 25 on McCaffrey, and 15 on actually no. 30 on McCaffrey and 10 on Bijan. That's me though. That's just me. 60, 30, 10.
Okay, and what would be your strategy for doing so? Because again, I think it's important to kind of remind viewers who aren't familiar with Polymarket and they're just getting into it. You don't have to, unlike some traditional sports books, you don't have to ride this bet out till week 18 to
Right.
discover, who is the top dog. You can buy and sell shares. So are you doing that because you think Brees Hall really has the ability to take down the crown for the top scoring fantasy running back? Would you ride that bet out, or are you doing it because he's way more undervalued? He's like half the price of McCaffrey, who's sitting at 35 cents, and Brees Hall's at 17 cents. Are you doing it more just from a profit perspective, where you might be able to flip this midpoint through the season and ring the bell and take some profit home?
So if I was writing it out, I'd probably still do it in that order. If I wasn't writing it out, I mean, because I don't think, like, if you look at it, I really don't think Brees Hall is a 2-to-1 dog to McCaffrey. It's more you know, like 1.5 to 1. So like if because CMC was 30 and Brees Hall was like closer to like 22, 23 cents, it would make more sense. But like it's just too much of a disparity, like in the price points between the two backs,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So
And I'm a
um
big Niner fan, right? So I wouldn't want this to happen, what I'm going to say. But the Jets play out in the Bay Area. They play in San Francisco on Monday night. Imagine the Jets come out, right? It's a close game, and Brees Hall has 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, puts up close to 200 yards between, rushing and receiving. Where are we going to see this price difference go? Those shares are going to climb mighty close to where McCaffrey's sitting right now, and that's pretty much in just week one alone.
right. And anything could happen in football. And when we're looking at the first couple weeks, specifically week one, I know the heat map that was created by the one and only Mark uh, displays kind of like who's the favorite to come out on top, who has a really good matchup for that week. So looking at the heat map, we see that Bijan and Brees Hall. Well, Brees Hall, they're at San Francisco, right?
Right.
Right. So yeah, that's why the percentages are like that. But I believe the game total is only 44 and a half. So you got to ride with CMC the first week because he's favored to outscore Brees Hall because of the touchdown equity, right? And Bijan is also an at-home favorite running back, but he's playing against the Steelers, and the point total is barely 40 points. So he has less touchdown equity compared to CMC, and that's represented by the heat map displayed here.
Right, and this is built exclusively, for content for Polymarket, just a color coded graph essentially for you to kind of just look at and know week over week, hey, who should I be investing in? Where are my running backs going to fare over the quarter point of the season? Should I buy now and sell? Do they have a couple tough games coming week 5 and 6? And just kind of get you prepared to make moves. Looking at a chart, right in front of your face, you almost can't mess it up. But with
Right.
that being said,
I will say, like, you could play around with the heat map and the matchups week one, and like Devon A Chain's involved in a couple shootouts early on. Um, and maybe you might want to place a certain percent in your portfolio to sell off by week four. So
right,
because we saw last year what they did against the Denver Broncos, where he scored. So if he erupts week one, scores 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns, and has a 70-point game, well, he's creating a large deficit between him, CMC, Brees Hall, and Bijan, the favorites. So
right, right. Yeah, just hoping that it's something that is easy for users to kind of play with this season, and we'll see how it pans out as we navigate through the season and tweak it and refine it and make it the best tool that it can be for you Polymarket heroes out there. Let's jump back into this. We want to keep this video as quick and clean as we can for you. We've talked about some blue chips, the 3 blue chips that you see sitting there. Where do you find value now if we're looking for some mid-tier guys that might turn into blue chip? We're going to scroll past Brees Hall. What we see on the Polymarket site right now is other is checking in as the 4th, I guess, most confident pick, and in terms of share price, 4th most expensive yes bet on the market.
yeah, I mean, I like that bet if Josh Allen's part of the other, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
So so yeah, I mean, this is like, I wouldn't call them a mid tier. They're still pretty elite to good, solid running backs. I will say my dark horse is, to possibly, like, sustainably, like, if you just wanted to let it ride and you wanted to get maybe 3 or 2 cents on the dollar, I will say, Isaiah Pacheco is playing with the best quarterback and offense of all of football. Andy Reid does have a history of making RB1s. So, and he's starting to catch the football more. So, and let's be real. I mean, the KC defense, did they have a good performance in the playoffs? Absolutely. It was legendary. But I don't think that's the KC defense we're going to see during the season or maybe in the playoffs. So, like, I would say Isaiah Pacheco is a good bet, especially in PPR formats. He's got a lot of touchdown equity. And then my favorite dark horse actually is Josh Jacobs. I would say Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love loves to throw to his running backs. Both the running backs behind him have been out a considerable amount of time in training camp. And as a matter of fact, I think AJ Dillon landed on season-ending IR today.
oh, wow,
So
I didn't even know that.
there's only the rookie behind him who hasn't even practiced at all in training camp. So Josh Jacobs and Isaiah Pacheco could ascend into that blue chip tier mid-season.
Okay,
So
yeah,
they're ones that you could buy cheap, and then you could kind of like sell up top, like with CMC, Brees Hall, and whatnot, and then kind of just like see your shares grow, and as they grow, you could sell on the way up.
yeah. So let's say
So,
let's say you bought 500 shares right now. That's going to cost you a whopping $18 on Josh Jacobs at the 3.6 cent mark. I guess that's Let me see. Is that where we should be? No, we should be at 2.7, right? So 500 shares cost you $13. If you were to sell, right, at, let's just say these shares climb to, where do we want to predict? Let's say 50-50. Am I doing this right, or am I doing this?
I wouldn't say 50 because like they would because I think the shares are going to be representative of how they finish the season. So he could climb realistically if he's a top 5 back, but he's number 1, he could climb to like 20 to 25%, like 20-25 cents.
Okay.
So it's still like a substantial increase from the 2.7 cents.
Yeah, and that's what makes this method of playing or investing into your fantasy players fun, right? You can buy and sell dips, you can buy low, sell high, you can pivot, you can create a nice portfolio, you can do a set it and forget it, just buy the blue chips, right? And let them ride it out and fight, and decide to start selling those shares week 14, 15, 16, and buy into more conviction. You can have a well balanced portfolio where you got a couple blue chips and you got some moonshots, and I think you're giving us that right now with your Josh Jacobs pick. We talked about some of the big dogs, the alphas at the top, and then you mentioned Isaiah Pacheco. That sounds like quite a healthy portfolio to me. If you're trotting out CMC, you're trotting out Brees Hall, Pacheco, and a Josh Jacobs, looks like you got all your bases covered. As long as these guys are fighting within the top 10, you're going to see those prices increase and
Yeah.
decrease, and you're going to have a lot of opportunity for you to make some money in the market this year.
Yeah, and the common theme with these dark horses is they're on a ascending offenses. So, the Packers are going to improve. There's plenty of touchdowns to go around over there, and yeah, I think that's the sharp moves to make. And then if you subscribe later in the season with our running back heat map, you can buy and sell throughout the season.
Yeah. Boom, man. Nice little quick video. I think we covered all the bases there, as we talked about. We got the blue chips, we got some moonshots. My man Brandon, I used to call him the Wizard of Fantasy. We're gonna come up with a better nickname for him this year.
I don't want to. I don't want because when I hear wizard, the modern age, I don't want people to think we're wearing white sheets off of camera.
Hell no, not in that round. But
well, I mean, you say you really heavily emphasize the wizard.
I meant more like a magician, like a wizard.
Oh, okay.
In that aspect. What we'll have to do is we'll have to let AI come up with your nickname, and maybe we'll do that on the next video. We'll say, what can Brandon's nickname be for this YouTube series, and whatever it is, man, we'll ride with.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for checking in on this one. We've got quarterbacks, we've got running backs done now, we've got tight ends done. The next one's going to be wide receivers, and then we have a flex. And as we work our way into the season, which is fast approaching, we've got the division matchups that you can invest in. You can buy yes on some of your favorites. You can buy no on people that you don't think, or teams that you don't think are going to win the division. And Polymarket just released their Sunday game picks. So you can actually invest and buy shares of who you think is going to win versus who they're competing against on Sunday. And right now it's without point spreads. So it's kind of exciting, as the game ebbs and flows. Maybe there's a turnover, you might be able to get a favorite at a discounted rate, depending on the overreactions from the market. Quickly buy, set your limit order. So let's say you got the Niners versus the Jets, right? The Brock Purdy throws a pick six. Niners, the sentiment goes down. Niners are only projected by everybody who's investing in this market to win 40% chance. You jump in at 40%, right? And then you can limit sell in that same moment at 75%, that if the Niners do take control again at halftime, before halftime, you can automatically sell in the moment before the game is over. Take your profit and enjoy the fourth quarter with a beer and just, see whatever happens. So
exactly. I mean, look what happened in the NFC Championship game. I mean, I remember I had to do it through a sports book, but I think you're getting like plus 450 on the Niners at half. So
right.
But except I didn't have the ability to sell
exactly
in the fourth quarter. So
And that's what makes Polymarket different. That's what's got us excited. So tune in, guys. Do us a favor. Give us a like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't. We've got a lot of great content that we're going to build around this Polymarket platform this year. And I'm excited to do it with Brandon for the rest of the season. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Cheers.